Hello, Malcolm Poynton,
Hey, Michael, how are you?
President, El Presidente of the Mobile Can Jury.
Yeah, that's
A
right.
great honour.
It's a great privilege.
It
always.
is. And you're the global CCO of Cheil, which
That's
is, of course, the
right.
home of mobile almost. Probably
Yeah,
invented mobile.
It's very close to our heart.
Very close to your heart.
Yeah.
South Korea's got better mobile than any other country in the world.
It sure
and
does.
the fastest.
It sure does.
So anyway, you're here and you judged the mobile lines, which you said before was an incredible sort of microcosm of the can lines itself. There was so many different categories within one. So mobile's actually got its own ecosystem. Basically.
It has. It's like a mini festival at
Yeah,
Cannes. So,
yeah.
you're judging everything from apps to websites to games to social, as well as technology innovation around mobile. So it's a really, really broad spectrum of things.
Yeah.
It's certainly not as simple as a specialization like film or print or radio or anything. It's very, very diverse.
Very broad, yeah.
And therefore the jury's really diverse as well, different kind of specialisms on that jury.
But it was very tough. I mean, you ended up with only seven gold lines.
Yeah.
One for Australia, which is great for DDB.
Yeah,
the Opera
absolutely.
House.
Yes.
But it's tough.
So-
I mean, was there a lot of entries to go through that just didn't make the grade, obviously?
Yeah, I think, typically we were trying to keep the bar really high, and I think it's one of those things where you think there's a lot of novelty things people do around mobile technologies, and you can be saturated by that. But surprisingly, actually, we weren't as overwhelmed by virtual reality as we expected.
Yeah.
But the stuff that really shone was the stuff that was most creative, that clearly depended on mobile. And Come On In for Sydney Opera House was an absolutely amazing example of that, we thought. We had a lot of love for that in the jury. It's using mobile in its most powerful ways. It's using location activation to target people. It's using influencers on Instagram. It's real-time content being generated on mobile phones to be put back out there. It's got so many dimensions to it which make it a fantastic case. On the other hand, there are things that
And could only have done by mobile means.
could only be done by mobile
amazing.
means, and that was an important filter to us on things. And I think, at the other end of the spectrum, there is a fantastic program called What's German, which is where inside of WhatsApp there's a messenger service to learn German, specifically for refugees arriving in Germany. And every day they get an English language lesson through WhatsApp. So it's inside WhatsApp, it's not a separate application, and it's starting to change WhatsApp as a product and as a messaging platform, but using pictograms and words to teach people German. And das ist gut.
That is good.
Yeah, das ist gut. But it was a long process judging mobile because of all the things that we had to get through. And ultimately through
that was the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, well,
Shit.
it was better than most years
good,
actually. And
good.
we'd had long debates about getting the festival to give us a Wi-Fi booster, which we got. But the great thing was actually that the Grand Prix winner emerged through the process. It wasn't a clear winner from the start, and it emerged because it took a lot of time to actually explore what it really was. So
you analysed it not just on the case study you went into. There were
you know
elements
what?
of the case study
It's a
you
great
actually loved.
example that you don't have to have the most polished case study in the world to work. In fact, it won in spite of the case study. The case
it wasn't a
study
great
is
study,
is being updated as we speak, but the case study doesn't do justice to it. So it went to New York Times VR app.
Yeah.
And what that's all about is you've got a 156-year-old brand who, from the analog world, newspaper industry, on its knees, you could say, and they've catapulted themselves into a contemporary world for a contemporary audience by actually introducing virtual reality stories and reporting. And this is going way beyond that kind of novelty factor of roller coasters. And I'd encourage everyone to download the New York Times VR app. Go and watch Displaced. You go shoulder to shoulder into the lives of 3 refugees, 12-year-old children, displaced in the world, and it gives and generates empathy within 60 seconds that you can't get even through reading 60 hours of printed journalism in a newspaper. It's incredibly powerful, and it opens your eyes how this may just help save that $176 billion industry of newspapers that's coming crashing down in a hurry. So I think there are about 20 stories in there so far. They did have some commercial partnerships which we were less enamored with in terms of GE and the content around that. It's really how they're changing the game for journalism that could only be done through mobile.
Yeah.
There is no other way of really viewing this. And if you haven't got a VR viewer to view it, there are 360 videos, so you can use your phone as a portal as well, which is the next best experience. I think there was also truth in the fact that it was helped that they distributed 1.3 million viewers across the states at the same time, but the real thing is it's a game changer that's transforming their relationship as a brand with people through mobile, and that's such a powerful thing.
Well, going forward, I'd imagine with mobile being the lead medium of the future, I would have thought. That's one of them. I'd say it's probably the one.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be a massive category. It's only just a start, isn't it?
It sure is. We're only at the beginning, aren't we? And I mean, you know, it goes from, well, there are two parts to it. I think there's, you know, awesome entertainment that happens in mobile because of social platforms that do that, and whether it's from Snapchat to, you know, all kinds of augmented face swapping applications, as well as anything that goes across traditional social platforms, you've got great entertainment. On the other hand, mobile now is about enabling the world in different ways, and the powerful ways brands can do that. So another gold winner this year was Blind Cat for Samsung. And you know, this is a great case where up until now, Paralympic swimmers only know when to turn at the end of the pool when someone whacks them on the back with a giant stick.
I love it.
And it's totally inhumane. But with some very creative technology, you know, putting a coin vibration device in a swimmer's cap that connects to a coach's watch,
just before
it instantly keeps the coach connection, but alerts them in a very humane and actually much better performance method for improving swimming. So you kind of think that kind of enablement, where it goes beyond the physical phone in your hand, is what's changing.
Little things,
and it's changing the relationship brands can have. You can have a more meaningful relationship in the world. You can do things that help people in different ways. So we're only just definitely at the beginning of this. It's going to go crazy in the future for sure.
Yeah, but it's nice that Australia's in there. But your little organisation won a gold from Peru, was it? Or where was it
no,
from?
actually, Blind Cat for Samsung was something from us,
head office,
and we had other work in there. We have another example of enablement, an application that goes through schools in the UK to help kids learn Shakespeare in a really engaging and playful way rather than reading a dusty old book.
Oh, that sounds good.
But the case from Peru that was fantastic was actually game-changing how people donate blood and register for it. So at the moment, I don't know how many people watching this have ever registered to donate blood, but in most countries it's a very convoluted process. You have to fill out forms and crazy things. So only 1,200 donors of blood in Peru, and a crisis therefore to solve the blood donation problem. And quite simply, #4Life enables people to tweet their blood group for life. And it gives them then a real-time database geolocated as to where different blood group people are scattered. And whenever there's a need for blood, they tweet that, and all of those people in the appropriate blood group are alerted. And if they're in the vicinity, they're much more likely to go and donate. So in its first launch phase, it went from 1,200 donors to about 25,000 donors instantaneously, who are giving blood actively when asked or when the need arises. Totally different way of doing it. Only, again, dependent on the fact that, you know, it's 93% mobile connection in Peru, not desktop. So they're not using Twitter on desktop. It's a very mobile, you know, activation, if you like.
How long have you been in the current position? Has it been a year? Or
it has.
Feels like
just
a year, but it's only a year.
Yeah, it's flown by. It's 18 months.
So you got your job last can.
It's, well, 2 cans ago actually, and then
it took a while to get
2
through
cans ago, and then we
leave.
got going 18 months ago. So it's been a fantastic journey, and I mean, you know, here we sit today, achievements that we never thought possible in 18 months, from Grand Prix at Dubai Links, Innovation Awards at AdFest, and
I mean, it's really on the map now creatively, where it was a solid, stodgy performer with its big brand Samsung. But there wasn't too many great Samsung ads, apart from the ones on Lear and Sydney.
Well, actually,
some of the other brands around the world. But Cheil itself was where the money was, and that's where the brand is. But obviously, it's come good.
Yeah, look, we've got a great program in place focusing on our key offices and creative progress, as I say, now coming from the UK, from Spain, from UAE, different offices that we've really got focused on making the right kind of progress. It's really exciting, and we're seeing Barbarian Group in New York contribute. McKinney in the US doing some really interesting stuff, and Iris as well. And
that's the thing. You've got a lot of brands that are not
within
just
the
Cheil.
network.
Yeah. But you're
exactly.
in charge of all of them.
That's
Well,
so
incredible.
as global chief creative officer across the network, yes, all those come into the fold, and we're seeing great stuff actually come out of Iris in Southeast Asia, and that certainly has been performing well in that region in terms of award shows as well. So looking forward to all that we can achieve by this time next year as well, and who knows how mobile is going to change between now and then, but certainly we'll see much more interesting and diverse ways that we're connecting brands in that space, and undoubtedly its fair share is going to come from New Zealand and Australia.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. Look, it's getting noisy here.
Sure is.
It's time for lunch, I think.
I think it is.
Thanks, Malcolm, and we'll see you tonight at
Pleasure.
the Campaign Brief party, if you can get there.
Look forward to seeing you at the party. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Sorry I missed the lunch yesterday.
No, that's fine. Cheers.
Cheers.